video I posted before. I'm going to address the Peter Rice rumor. I've never heard it. Cameron's never said anything about it. Mike hasn't said anything about it. Doomcock has never said anything about it. And I want to address it. Don't come on my channel and drop a rumor like that without a link. Or don't do that without showing me where to find it, okay? I can't address it if I don't know what the story is, okay? This is not how you do things. You don't go, oh, I heard Peter Rice or some other dude were being considered to replace Chapek. Well, when? When? All right, first off, the board doesn't get to decide who the CEO is, and the shareholders do. All right. And dropping that, yes, I'm lecturing because I feel like it, because I'm pissed off. There, without any context, I'm like, well, I can't do anything with this. Why would you do that? Don't do that. I need context. I need to go to the link. I need to find out where that came from, okay? The reason why is so I can send the link to other people who are closer to the situation so they can put their 2 cents in. Well, Sci-Fi Universes, send me an email. I know you have it. Send me an email because I'm really interested. I don't, look, all of you dumb fuckers out there who hate Chapek for stupid reasons don't understand. The 2 people that were mentioned in that message are Igorites. Now I want you to sit back and think about that, okay? They're Igorites. They're not people who are going to go in there and start firing people like David Zaslav did. Okay, let me explain something about Bob Chapek. He survived 26 years at Disney. Okay, Machiavellian place, you know, and he's pretty much put Kathleen Kennedy in her place, and I'll get to that. He's pretty much, it looks like, put Kevin Feige in his place. His problem is now with a company, part of the company, Pixar, that's not doing well with it, with any features, and other things that were set in place before he took over to push an agenda. We all saw the videos. We saw LaToya Ravenel, you know, being disgusting and a pedophile. Okay. We saw LaTondra Newton being disgusting and a pedophile. We saw that fat, I mean, look, that Kevin, whatever his name is, Munch or whatever his name is, that guy looks like and reminds me of a even wimpier version of John Wayne Gacy, for Christ's sakes. Okay. That video did not come out because they wanted it to. All right. I want y'all to sit back and think about that. The only person in the world that would benefit from that video being released is Bob Chapek. All right. To piss the investors off. Not at him, at Bob Iger. Or Bob, this is, look, as long as these people are allowed to stay, okay, we are going to have this shit because they won't shut up. Okay, they won't shut up. But the winds of change are coming. Okay, and you know, we could wake up tomorrow morning and find out Chapek fired everybody. All right, Susan Arnold said fire him, and him. Okay, gone. Bye. All right, they need Chapek to do that, swing a baseball bat, and just start toppling their little fiefdoms. You know, canceling budgets for Reimagine Disney. Okay, canceling, you know, like they did with the LeFou coming out show, just where it's starting to roll, and they're like, no, we're not going to do this. We're not going to do this. You know, part of the reason why these fuckers got so uppity is because of that. It's because of that. No one wants to see that shit. You know, by the way, the more these activists, they're so disgusting. I mean, just when you really think about what they do, not that it's any of my business, but wouldn't it be a nice world not to know what they do? Not to know about them? Wouldn't it? Yeah, why? Because when you start thinking about it, when you start talking to somebody like that, and you start realizing it's disgusting, it's gross. Okay, it's gross. There you go. And you don't want them talking to kids. You do not want them talking to children. Okay, so, you know, but like I said, Sci-Fi Universe, if you're still here, send me an email, all right? From what I've heard, and I think it was WDW Pro said that Peter Rice is being eyed by Warner Brothers. She's already done Sci-Fi Universe. I mean, let's get to this. So we've got, okay, this is the week in review. This is last week. We got the Florida House running in, basically rescinding the Reedy Creek Improvement Act, which watch Valiant Renegades video, because I can't explain all this, but it's a very, very, very complicated mess. And it's, look, Fox News is lying about it. CNN's lying about it. Okay? They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So go watch that video with WDW Pro, because he does. Okay? I mean, Ron DeSantis is a PhD in law from Harvard. I'm sure he was like, you know, they didn't really keep up their side of the bargain to build a city of the future. You know, we could really push them to clean up their act. That's what he did. Okay. And again, and I'm going to tell all of you conservatives, all of you liberals that call yourself liberals and you're not, you're a bunch of loony bin left-wing fascists. A, they're never going to move Disney World. Okay. And B, to the conservatives who are just as dumb as the people on the left, Disney's not going anywhere. So fucking quit it. Okay. And I find it uncharitable of you, and you're all Christians, so I can say this, for you to wish Disney would go away. There's 200,000 people out of jobs, not to mention ancillary companies, hotels, restaurants, other smaller tourist attractions that would go down. Okay, so please, when you sit there and act like an emotional dickhead or bitch, remember that, okay? It's like somebody in my family decided they wanted to be a non-denominational Christian. And I started thinking about it. And institutions are made of people. Okay. So if you're pissed off or I don't get enough from the Catholic faith, are you there for God or are you there for the people? Just like Disney. Are you there to be entertained or are you there for the people? Okay? It's not the institution's fault. It is the people inside. Okay? So, if LaTondra Newton goes away, if LaToya Ravenel goes away, if Kari Burke goes away, and all the rest of these disgusting, perverted, mentally ill psychopaths are fired, Disney's back to being Disney. Okay, they're just going to make good stuff and entertain little kids and their families, and everybody will be joyfully happy. All right? That's what we want. Okay? Kind of like finding a parish that fits your attitude. All right? It is Sci-Fi Universes. It's like when we moved from Yongsan in Seoul, South Korea, to Stafford, Virginia, when Rudy went to Quantico, we decided to join St. William of York Parish in Stafford. And Father DiMartino is extremely conservative, but he fit my attitude. Why? Because, and it's funny how many young Catholics say this, we want discipline. We want to be told you can't do that. We want to be held accountable. When my dad died, I went, because I was off in this sort of goth, weird place trying to figure out, who the hell I was and trying to get a handle on my sadness. And I looked into several Protestant faiths, and I was horrified by what I saw. Horrified. And if you're Protestant, I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. No sense of the sacred. The trashing of our Mother Mary drove me away from a group of women. We were studying the Bible, the short version, because Protestants are too busy, sola scriptura, to actually read the entire Bible that was chosen in Nicaea back in 300 AD? Constantine. This is where St. Nicholas punched a heretic. Here's the deal. As a Catholic, you understand the place for our mother. There's an entire part of the Bible called the Canticle of Mary. And it's the last thing she says in the entire Bible. And it's after she discovers she's pregnant with Jesus. Okay? It is very important. Okay? There are parts where he addresses his mother. On the cross, St. John, who was, I believe, a cousin, walked her up, and Jesus said, "Mother, behold your son, son, behold your mother." That's a very important thing in faith. He's basically telling Mary she's the adoptive mother of all of us who are baptized in Christ. Okay? When you've got a fat monk like Martin Luther screaming and shouting about this, first off, it's misogynistic on steroids. It is. Second of all, it degrades the faith. So you don't go to church for the people. You go to church to be closer to God. And fine if you, but I gotta tell you something. When I was a young teenager, one of my friend's grandmothers told me I was going to hell because I was Catholic, and she belonged to the Assemblies of God. Okay? That was my first real exposure to that. All right? And it kind of scarred me. So on my journey, after my dad died, I tried to find something that was fitting my attitude. I even tried paganism, which is just, yeah, I'm going to go sit there and worship the personifications of all human emotions. Because that's what that is. Okay? Nothing worked. And when I got to DC, I started going to Mass again. Okay? I started rethinking everything and realizing I had to come home. And that's what happened. And also because, again, I realized you don't go to church, to Mass, to see all the people. You go there to be with God. And in communion, you go there to take part in it. Hey, Jay, how you doing? So anyway, let's talk a little bit about what's going on with Kennedy. Well, first off, okay, Elon Musk's offer to buy Twitter is basically been accepted. By the end of the week, Twitter will probably be his. It will go private. He will be able to fix what's broken if he keeps his promise. Okay, which I'm coming back. Oh, I'm coming back. You bet your sweet Bippy. I'm going to do it in a way certain jackasses will be they'll freak out. Okay? So, let's go. This is huge. Things are changing, okay? Not just at Twitter, Warner Brothers. David Zaslav gets in, and Sarnoff, who was the one that basically fired Johnny Depp from Fantastic Beasts, is fired. Jason Kilar is fired. Rumors have it now that Ezra, I hate women, so I beat him up, Miller is probably leaving after the Flash movie is put out. He's probably not coming back. He's also facing second degree assault charges in Hawaii. I don't know what the punishment would be for that, but okay. And let me explain. The woman he hit was one whose house he broke into, okay, and threatened to kill, okay. Why they were back hanging out together, I don't know. But she chose not, she and her husband chose not to press charges then. Now, with assault, the cops are the ones that can press charges. So it's out of that bitch's hands, okay? Then we get Amber Heard. Amber Heard, I think they're redirect, Johnny Depp is on a redirect right now. Amber Heard is probably going to wish by the end of this that she'd never met Johnny Depp. All right. We've got things like Jason Momoa following Johnny Depp going on. These are big things. Tug, Umbrella, the Umbrella guy. He does what I do, and he looks at little bits of information that don't seem like much. You see people coming out in Hollywood supporting Johnny Depp. There's a video on here now from a long time ago where Angelina Jolie is basically trashing Amber Heard. Let me explain something about that. Angelina Jolie is one of the major players for an actress, movie producer, film director in Hollywood. Okay. She is no shit, a badass. And if she says, I didn't want him to marry her, I didn't think it was a good idea, I didn't like her, la-di-da, ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. Now, back in the day, Amber was a very beautiful girl. I mean, she really was, okay? But now when you look at her and you realize she's got a few years to her, she's in her early 30s and she just looks like shit. She looks all puffy, like she's drinking too much. She looks like shit. Okay, so this is wearing on her. The fact that people like Brad Pitt and his ex-wife Angelina Jolie are turning on her. People like Jason Momoa are like, she's going to probably be kicked off the Aquaman film. Okay, they will figure out a way to make her go away. They will recast somebody and probably have to reshoot it. Okay, but if it's going to go forward, they have to because the fans hate her. Okay, so we got that. And this is all, and of course, David Zaslav going, no more CNN Plus. I'm sorry. I know it's mean to laugh. The look on Chris Wallace's face is just, it's priceless. I mean, it's like, you know what? You were working for the biggest news organization in the world, Fox News, and you got upset because Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson have differing opinions. So you left. Look where you are now, dude. So we got that going on. Okay, David Zaslav is, taking Negan's baseball bat and swinging it for the bleachers. Then we get to Disney. Now, we've heard nothing from inside of Disney, but let me explain something to you guys. If you think all doors and all bridges were burned, you're wrong. If you think Bob Chapek, Susan Arnold, and the smart people at Disney didn't realize that Ron DeSantis was going to take this and run with it. I mean, the guys eyeing the White House, you're wrong. If you think that there aren't any backdoor talks going on, you're wrong. So, that would just be bad business. That would be something like a stupid jackass like Bob Iger would do. Okay. Are things happening inside Disney? Probably. Will we know? I don't know. Sci-Fi Universe mentioned that Kathleen Kennedy is first on the chopping block. I think she's already done. I think basically her position is she's a placeholder now. That's all she's doing. Okay. Kevin Feige, if he gets a better offer from somebody, I could see him leaving. Will they keep Pixar? I don't know. Will they offer to buy Skydance? Now, I'm going to tell you something about Skydance. I don't know how much that thing is worth. Is it worth? Here's the deal. Does Disney have enough assets to buy it? These are the things we need to think about. What is the financial stability of Disney right now? And it's not very good. I mean, they've lost, I think, 50% of their stock value from a 52-week high. Okay. And, let's talk about outside factors. No, I don't think he is Sakori. I think he's probably smart to shut his mouth. If he is, I mean, look, I'm going to tell you something. Joe Biden is probably he's on his way out the door, okay? They're going to have to find somebody else to run, and they all hate Kamala. They all do. So they'll probably choose somebody else. And it's either going to be Trump or DeSantis. And whoever it is going to beat the shit out of them. Okay. Trump is, when you look at polls within, on the conservative side, Trump leads DeSantis by a wide margin. I had some semi-retarded Bible beater screaming about what a horrible person Ron DeSantis was, and I'm like, Kid, what the fuck is wrong with you? We've got, look, again, the conservative side has a lot of very, very brain dead people. Okay. And it's like, I just, you know what? I'm sorry, I can't do it. I mean, Protestants, it's like, fellow Christian, I get it. Now go over there and sit down and please don't. All right. It just no. So, and it's always people like that. I mean, always people like that. They don't know anything. Again, we have people on our side who are just as bad as the ones on the left. I would like to take our people and their people, put them in a burlap bag, and watch them beat the shit out of each other. And whoever crawls out, that's who we take care of. Okay? Done. So we've now been told that there's a pretty strong indication the Acolyte's been pushed back to October. There's really been no movement on getting a director, other actors, etc. for that show. And it looks to me like Disney pushed it back to run out the clock. October is the end of their fiscal year. Okay. Then we've got Andor, and this is actually, I think it was the director, or art director, or one of the actors, who basically said, or no, it was the art director, who basically said, I was selected to do this for 5 seasons, and we're only doing 3. So 2 seasons are going away for Andor. Now, I don't mind the show. I think it might be good. Why? Because I liked Rogue One. I thought it was a good show. Now, they could have done an Underworld series with Jyn Erso, talking about how she grew up. They could have done a Rebels series like Andor's featuring another character. The fact that they didn't is kind of, but again, I'm not, you know, I'm not the one deciding this. And I remember, was it 2018 when they announced it? I was like, you know, I mean, everyone's looking at each other like, I mean, it was a good movie, but of all the characters to have on that, him, I um wish, and I think this would be a good idea, if Disney had the balls to do it, to do a show featuring how Palpatine became Palpatine. All right, with Darth Plagueis, following the novel Plagueis. All right, I'm going to tell you something. It would be very, 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 very dark because that book is like. I think that would be a good show. I think people would really like it. I think that you would probably have a good. I think there would be a good reception. But I want to wait to see what Kenobi looks like. I think Kenobi's going to be great. I just, all the bitching and moaning and crying, and then you got WDW Pro saying, well, Stranger Things is beating it because of searches. Look, I'm going to tell you something about Stranger Things. Stranger Things is probably should have been ended in season 2. Okay? That's it. They could call it Plagueis Apprentice. They could call it Plagueis. They could call it The Rise of Palpatine. They could just call it Palpatine. Okay? But I'm going to tell you something. There are a lot of people out there that go, this is boring. And you know who they are. I don't have to bring them up. If someone's not getting killed with a lightsaber or, whatever, it's, you won't. This would be a show for people who really want to get into the deep lore. Okay? Like me. But I really think that they would do themselves a favor, have Palpatine, and then redo the Han Solo origin story. I think that would be good with Anthony Ingruber, or somebody like that, or deep fake. Han Solo. It's just, so anyway, so we're just gonna have to see. But as far as Kennedy, I think she's probably already on the way out. Okay. I'm also gonna tell you this, and this just occurred to me, that you guys remember when Feige started snorting around and basically Chapek kind of put him in his place by using the lawsuit that ScarJo put out there against him. All right. Rumor was, and I think this is WDW Pro that said it, that ScarJo and Chapek came up with that. That was a rumor. I'll believe it. All right. Feige leaving, I think, would be the next thing. But it always seemed to me that Chapek was playing whack-a-mole. Kennedy, fires Gina. Chapek says, okay, that's or tells Gina she's no longer wanted. She didn't fire her. And, Chapek's like, okay, that's enough. That's enough. So he goes and takes care of that. Okay. Then we get the stuff with Feige and, him bitching and moaning about Black Widow, okay, you know, got his lunch handed to him. Feige complains about, well, they should have a regular theater run. Ugh. Okay. Gave one to Shang-Chi, Shang-Chi choked. Gave one to the Eternals, and no one went. Nobody went. It sucked. It was woke shit. Okay. Nobody went. I think what's going to happen are the woke folk at Disney are going to have to accept that their idea of entertainment is going to have to go by the wayside. And if they want to keep doing it, they need to go to find a different job. As far as Kennedy, last October when we heard everything was being pushed back or canceled, it was pretty much obvious that she's no longer, at least in charge of Star Wars. And since Indy 5 was pushed back a year from its release date, she's no longer in charge of Indiana Jones either. And I look at a lot of factors going into that. And I've said this before, I'll say this again. I believe, and I have people tell me I was right, Harrison Ford was the one that put the brakes on it. Because he saw how bad the script was and was like, I'm not fucking doing this. Okay. And it's always better to be underestimated than overestimated in stuff like this. Harrison Ford's an actor. He has produced some things. I agree with Mark Hamill. I think he would have been a great director. I think he could have actually done a really good job with that. But he didn't want to. That's fine. He's actually an executive producer for that show, The Staircase, on HBO Max. I'm going to watch it. It looks kind of scary and entertaining and weird. But I think he got hurt. And when I look at those pictures, he's walking around with his arm in a sling. Then a week later, his arm's not in a sling and he's riding his bicycle around London on those awful cobblestone streets. And I've hurt my shoulder. I told you how. Okay, you get bucked off a horse, and you're gonna fuck yourself up at times. Okay, and I did. All right, elbow came out of its socket, shoulder. I'll talk about that in a second, but I'm not gonna give it too much, Jay. And it ain't fun. And I couldn't ride the rest of the summer. I was pissed. This guy's 78, going to be 79 years old. He gets hurt, shoulder. That's not going to be something that repairs itself automatically. He's riding his bicycle over 2 weeks after. Both hands on it. I just sit back and think about that. I'm not going to say he was dogging it, but I am going to say something told him to slow roll it. So that movie didn't film for like a month and a half. And then when it did come back, they did this, they did that, and then the Doomcock's rumors came out in the Daily Mail, and Indiana Jones 5 suddenly gets pushed back from its release date. And I'll tell you something. Mads Mikkelsen in that interview recently saying that he didn't realize what a powerful actor he was. In one sentence, and then talks about what Harrison would do when they were done filming for the day, 5 a.m. They'd finally be done filming. Grab his Italian racing bike and go take a mountain bike or whatever and take off and ride 31 miles. 79 years old. Okay. Well, with a bad shoulder. Matt Kadish, the great, whatever Slayer, the great Mangold Slayer. Mangold wasn't even the person in charge anymore. Harrison was, because I think that's who's actually producing this movie, and I think he took it over. I think October was Kennedy's last gasp. Okay. All right. So about the Batman, I tried to get through it. I'd fast forward to try to find something interesting in the movie. I got to the place where Zoe Kravitz says something about white privilege, and I turned it off. The best scene in the whole show they deleted, and that was the scene where he interviews the Joker. I'm going to tell you something. If you're going to do a Batman movie, and you come out swinging with a fat, dumpy looking version of Jeffrey Dahmer as the Riddler, I'm going to walk away and go, okay, you need really good villains. And I prefer seeing the Joker. Okay. And my favorite is Heath Ledger's. Okay, I'm not a fan of Jack Nicholson. You know, I'm sorry if Anthony Gruber's watching. I know you love him. I never have. The guy's always struck me as somebody not. I personally I don't like the guy. Okay. I want to see more Barry Gagan's Joker. The thing I found, I didn't find the way he looked bad. I don't think he had enough gravitas to play the character. I mean, you can look at Nicholson's Joker, but his was older, middle-aged, grown-up guy. Okay, Heath Ledger's had a story. Okay, there's gravitas there. The thing that Heath Ledger did and Christopher Nolan did is Ledger never gives you the story. He says his father gave him the scars. He did the scars for his wife. I can't remember. There were like 3 different scenarios. So you don't know if he's telling the truth of any of it. Okay? You don't know. So it's that part. We don't know anything about him. He's just this dude that shows up and starts basically terrorizing Gotham. Okay, and it's scary. Okay, I mean, Michael Caine's whatchamacallit, basically said some men want to see the world burn. It's true. Okay, I think Jim Gordon, played by Gary Oldman, that's my favorite. Okay. Alfred, Michael Caine, you can't get better. Okay. Christian Bale could have put a little more force to it, but I think he was so in awe of Ledger, I think he almost stood back and watched him. All right. No competition. No competition. I think they didn't try to outact each other. And really, Batman, at times, he's more passive. And that's the way he's been played. Okay? He doesn't take action. And when he does, he's been riled up into it. Okay? And the Joker in The Dark Knight takes action. Right away. He walks in and starts doing shit. Okay. The Batman, it's like, I was waiting for him to sparkle and then disappear. I don't know. I just can't stand that actor. I hate Zoe Kravitz going off and attacking Christopher Nolan, saying he's racist because he didn't hire her for Catwoman. I'm like, fuck you. you little entitled Hollywood princess bitch. You know, it's funny. Lily Rose Depp has more class in her fingertip than that little slag. Okay? More class in her fingertip. You would never hear her say something like that. She also looks just like her dad. It's like, anyway. But no, I'm going to see The Northmen on Wednesday. I'm going to go to the 4:15 one. And the reason why is because I can't wait. I literally, look, first off, my grandfather came over on the boat from Norway. He is from an area of Norway called the Sognfjord. And his family owned a farmstead there since the year 780 AD. Okay. They were given that land by King Harald Fairhair. I mean, the first king of Norway. He's in the movie. Okay. And I think we're related to him. Okay. It's like they were my family is part of that clan, related to the king of Norway, and that's one of the reasons I want to see it. I want to see Grandpa. I want to see Grandpa kicking ass. These are my people. This is my DNA going. You were there. This was there. You know, and it's going to be a good movie, and all the right people hate it. Where are the black people? There's a representation. 800 AD, Norway. How many black people do you think are there? Okay. I mean, the BBC basically kicked itself in the ass when they cast Anne Boleyn as a black woman. I mean, look, you do that, that's racist. Okay. You do that, that's racist. So the idea that you're going to do a Viking saga, unless you're doing the 13th Warrior, you're going to do a Viking movie, but you need representation of different races. It's like, fuck you. No. This is a historical drama. We're going to do it right, or we're not going to do it. Okay. So, and, I mean, watch. You're gonna get some British labor droolers screaming that Norwegians, Danes, and Swedes owe them money because of slavery. Vikings took slaves. They went to the British Isles. They went to France. They went everywhere and stole women. Okay. If you go to Ireland and Scotland and did a DNA test, a lot of those people have Scandinavian blood. All right. When you see a tall, handsome, rugged-looking Scotsman, that guy's Scandinavian. Same thing in Ireland, okay? You go to England, you see a tall, handsome guy with straight teeth. That guy's Scandinavian. Okay, he's got Scandinavian heritage, okay? Let me explain, okay? The Normans, they came from an area of France called Normandy. The king of France decided to give them give a bunch of Vikings that land. William the Conqueror wasn't French. He was Norwegian. Okay, they were Norsemen. That's why they're called the Normans. Okay. Ta-da! Okay, anyway. So I always see that. I think when the deal goes through with Twitter, watch the reeing. The reeing will be spectacular. All right, this is Steph. I gotta go. I'll see you guys around the galaxy. Behave, be safe. I'm sure Midnight's Edge is still on. I'm gonna go back in the chat there, but I thought I'd do a video, a live, and also, by the way, check out the upload I put on because it's just kind of kind of a prologue into this. But I do think that with the Acolyte being pushed back till October, it's after the fiscal year is over, and that's when people leave. And Andor being cut to 3 seasons. You know, I'm agreeing with Cameron. I'm pretty sure that it's over. Anyway, for Kennedy, and she's on her way out the door. Anyway, this is Steph. I got